Right.
Good day, good day. Speaking of Dispatcher 101, Freight Broker 101 training for beginners. Just wanted to tap in with you guys and let you know that we are uh in the month of June, we're having our 50% off sale on our most popular program, the Dispatcher 101 training for beginners, 90-day self-paced training, as well as the Freight Broker 101 90-day self-paced training, where you get all of the modules, access to the load boards that we offer, access to our live and recorded Zoom training, Zoom calls. Um, what else? Access to tools and resources, different forms and documents. So for someone who is interested in the logistics market, interested in transportation, looking to come into this space from the easiest position possible, namely as a independent business owner, freight dispatcher, or an independent business owner, freight broker, then you can take advantage of this program. Our price point, our base price point for the dispatcher course for the 90 days is $599. But now in the month of June until June 30th, it will be 50% off of that, right? So it'd be half of that. So $599 is 600. So half of 600 is 300. So it'd be $299, right? And then on the broker side, it'll be $799, our base price for the 90 days self-paced training. But half of that will be $399. So you get 90 days self-paced. You get everything that's included in the program just for half the price. All the content, all the recordings, all the materials, access to myself in the trainings, things of that nature. Some of you may be asking, well, what's the difference between a freight dispatcher and a freight broker? One is the dispatcher is someone who works exclusively and contractually and directly with the motor carrier, the truck driver, the owner operator. They keep their trucks loaded with goods so they can transport those goods from pickup to destination, and the dispatcher gets a percentage or gets paid to assist the carrier doing that. That's how the dispatcher earns their money. Dispatchers do not need what's called an authority, an operating authority, like an MC or DOT. You may have heard these terms. You may have heard of these terms. Um, you just need to establish your company, your business license, come up with a business name, get your business license, whether it's a sole proprietorship, whether it's a um, LLC, whether it's a partnership, however you structure that according to your requirements. Again, you are the entrepreneur. It is your company, right? And then you just get with a carrier, whether you call them, email, however you reach out to them. You may know someone who knows a carrier, right? Truck driver, owner, operator, and you set up a contract with them, right? An agreement, that as we call it. We call it a dispatcher agreement, right? It is one of the documents that's included um in our dispatcher packet that we're talking about on the dispatcher side. So independent freight dispatchers in the transportation industry, being your own boss is one of the easiest barriers to entry into logistics, into transportation, right? So that's the difference between that's the dispatcher. Now, the freight broker, to break down the difference between the dispatcher and the freight broker, the freight broker is an individual who is responsible for arranging for the transportation of freight. That is the literal definition according to the governing body in transportation, DOT, and namely the FMCSA, Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, right? So brokers need to have an MC and DOT, or what we call a broker authority, an operating authority, a broker license, to be able to have the ability to arrange for the transportation and the movement of freight, or the transportation of freight. How do they do that? Well, once they get a broker license or a broker authority or an operating authority as a freight broker, they will have the ability to contract with the customers, the shippers, to procure or get the freight. And then they have the ability to use authorized motor carriers to transport the freight. And they are in the middle of that process. And that's how they get paid. And brokers have certain profit margins that they go on, 10, 15, 20% of whatever they get the freight from the shipper under, however the load is tendered, if you will. The shipper may sell freight to the broker or tender the freight to the broker at, let's say $3,000. A broker may take 20% off of that. Well, 20% of $3,000. Just giving you numbers so you can understand the concept, right? 20% of 3,000, 600, right? 2 times 3 is 6. You do the math, right? So, but the difference, before I get too far off track, the difference between a freight dispatcher and a freight broker is that the broker is required by the FMCSA and DOT, Department of Transportation, FMCSA, Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration. They are required to have a license in order to legally procure and contract with shippers and broker or have the carriers transport the freight. Dispatchers don't do that. They're not involved in that. They work directly with the truck drivers. The dispatchers call and deal with brokers when they are trying to get freight for their drivers. Most dispatchers mainly start off by getting loads from brokers through or in software called load boards. Okay, there is software out here that dispatchers use called load boards, where brokers post the loads that they're trying to get moved for their customers through motor carriers. So then on the carrier side, the dispatchers go to those load boards, access those load boards using the MC number of the carriers, because dispatchers cannot access the load boards, because with a load board, you have to have an MC or an authority to be able to purchase the subscription to that load board. So dispatchers do not do that, but they leverage their carrier's MC number in order to purchase a subscription to that load board in order to find their carriers loads according to their carrier's requirements or their carrier's profile. So I'm trying to make sure, and I'm trying to differentiate the difference between a dispatcher, a freight dispatcher, and a freight broker. They are not the same. They are different. One has to have an authority. One has to have a license and contract with the carriers. They're not the same. Now, there are individuals out here who are dispatching services, dispatching businesses, but are behaving as freight brokers or trying to behave as freight brokers. Is that right? Of course it's not. And it's giving the good dispatchers a bad name. There are some good dispatch services out here who are doing it the correct way. Okay, independent freight dispatcher. So my job as an instructor is to make sure that I give you the right information in our trainings, in our Dispatcher 101 training for beginners. We tell you about how dispatchers are supposed to dispatch correctly. And we also show you the pitfalls and the things to avoid to not put yourself in the category of a bad dispatcher. And then the same thing holds true on the broker side. We tell you how to go after your authority, how to get your authority, what are the pre-requirements to become a freight broker, and then what are the requirements of being a freight broker. What do you need to do, from going to the FMCSA's website and registering with the OP1 form, that application fee, getting your bond, getting your BOC3 filed, getting your UCR filed, all the steps needed in that process as well. So we go into great detail with examples and real-time, real-life situations. So we talked about that actually last night, Tuesday, in our Freight Broker 101 training for beginners class. So we are having our half off sale this month for the month of June until June 30th. The promo code for that is June 2024. I try to remember it. I can go to the screen and actually share it with you guys. On our website, here's the homepage of our website. And under the Dispatcher 101, from the home page, you see these headers up here, right? Well, if you're interested on the dispatcher side or whether you are interested on the freight broker side, you select the one or you hover your mouse over the one that you have interest in. Under each one, let's start with the dispatcher. Under each one, you have a products menu, the different products we offer on the dispatcher program, the different products we offer on the broker program, in the broker program, I should say. Okay, so you go to the products menu on the dispatcher side. And now here's our products menu and the different options here. The most popular one, and it even says it, is the 50% off $5.99 90-day course. Click that one, and it takes you to our ongoing 90-day page, right? And you can either purchase a single member at $5.99 or a two member, $7.99 dispatcher 90-day self-paced training, right? We have self-paced modules, we have quizzes, we give certificates, things of that nature, right, upon completion. So you learn about the transportation industry from a dispatching perspective at a very basic level. You also learn about freight brokering in the transportation industry at a very basic level on the freight broker side, which we will go to next. But as an example, right here is offer ends June 30th, promo code June 2024. Let's say, for example, you wanted to purchase that, right? And we also offer Affirm. We have a merchant account where we can also offer payment options. So you can purchase at 50% and make payments on the 50% off, right? So for example, if you want to purchase that, let's say you want to purchase a single member, right? You select that, and you would log in. You would create a login for yourself. Put your payment information in, credit card or what have you. If you have PayPal and Affirm. But before I usually advise people before you do the Affirm option is to enter the promo code if there is a promotion going on at the time. And just so happens now in the month of June, we are having a promo, right? So June 2024. And if you notice, once I hit apply, the $5.99 is going to go off by 50%. So I'm going to hit apply, and it now changes to $299.50. You see, 50% off of the $5.99. And then instead of hitting your credit card information, you would hit the Affirm button and then go through the requirements to see if you qualify for payment options under Affirm. So put your promo in first and calculate your difference there before you apply to make payment options on there. So an extra savings, right? For those of you who can't afford to pay even after 50% off, that's another option. So we're making it as easier for you financially to come into this space to try to be your own boss, to be your own entrepreneur. So that's on the dispatcher side. Let's go to the broker side. And the same thing. So here's our Freight Broker 101 products menu, kind of the same thing with the different sale buttons and things like that. But the one I wanted to show you is the most popular one, 50% off, $7.99 on the broker side, okay? And here, $7.99 for single member, $9.99 for two, for 90 days self-paced. Take your time, 90 days. And then even after 90 days, if you were to scroll down each page, since we're on the broker page, let's do that before we get into that example. You can read what's included in that 90-day self-paced program. And then after 90 days, if you want to continue to have access to what's all included in the 90 days, there is a monthly subscription. In this case, for the broker side, it's $24.99 a month. On the dispatcher side, I believe it's $34.99 a month. Okay. All right. So let's scroll back up and do the same thing here on the broker side that we did on the dispatcher side. So we hit the purchase now. And again, if there is a promo or promotion going on or a sale going on, enter the code for that sale. And it's the same code on the dispatcher side as it is the freight broker side. June 2024, you hit apply, it's going to turn $7.99 into half off. Okay, now it's $399.50. And then you enter which payment option on the number 2 payment, credit, debit card. And if you want to do payment plans, you can do the Affirm to do payments. You can break your $399.50 down into monthly payments for however long or however many terms in that monthly payments you have qualified for with the Affirm account. Okay, once you hit Affirm, you will enter your Affirm information and then go from there. Okay. And it says right here, once you click proceed, you will be redirected to Affirm because you selected Affirm. You will finish filling out your information in here. And then by now, it's going to redirect you to Affirm to see if you qualify for the payment plan. For those of you who cannot afford to pay the 50% off difference, even after that, right? So that's what we're having now. Just wanted to come in and share that with you. Okay. I can be reached at area code 757-515-1684. That's the phone number. The email is Exodus Logistics LLC at yahoo.com. And of course, the website, www.exodusdispatchingandtraining.com. If you have any questions, reach out to me about coming into the industry, being your own boss. You can start your own business. You don't need a CDL. You don't need a truck, nor do you need experience. You can come in as an independent freight dispatcher. You can come in as a freight broker, which does not require a CDL, a truck, or experience. We can train you up to do that correctly, right? So, and all the information will be in the notes of this video below, so you can always refer back to that and give me a call if you have any questions, all right? See you soon. Looking forward.